Hey, hi, church fam. Good evening to you. Pastor Owen here, welcoming you into this edition of Midweek. And it's a special midweek for a couple of reasons. I got a couple of great guests that are going to jump on with me here in a second. Church fam. Good evening to you. Pastor Owen here, welcoming you. Along with, I'm trying to do all the things right now because Nick, my man Nick, abandoned me. So I'm here. But I got a couple of good guests that are about to jump in as well. And someone that you have not yet seen on Midweek too. Another reason why it's a really special week is because we are celebrating. We're celebrating a big moment in the life of our church family. On Sunday, we let you know that we are just a few weeks away from stepping back into in-person gatherings Sunday mornings on our campus. And we are so excited to get to be in physical space with you. So we want to use this midweek time like we usually do. We want to take the conversation from Sunday and expand on it and dig into it with a little more conversation. And so we're going to do that tonight. And the first way we want to do that is to actually, I'm going to show you an announcement video from Pastor John that details some of what it will look like when we step back into our in-person gatherings. And then I got Pastor John with me. He's going to jump in along with our special surprise guest. And he is going to help us kind of take this, what we see in the video and apply that to how we're going to step forward as we go back into in-person gatherings. But most of all, we are just excited and thrilled to be able to step back into in-person gatherings with you. So, all right, wish me luck, because what I'm about to do is try to show you a video on Zoom. So here it goes. Let me know, let me make sure you can see this. It looks like this. Here we go. And this is Pastor John explaining what happens when we step into in-person gatherings starting September 6th. Here we go.
Heights family, we just want to take a moment to prepare you for the fall. We know that fall's right around the corner. We know that you want to make plans. And so this video is designed with the intentionality that you will be able to plan out when things are happening here at Heights and begin to rally your family or loved ones or friends around those dates that we set forward from here. And so we just want you to know that as a senior leadership team and elders, we have been working tirelessly to try and figure out the best way to begin in-person ministry again at Heights. How do we step back into some of these larger gatherings of people? And so we've been working on that. What you're about to hear is a plan that's been put together by those two groups, and we hope that this is a blessing to you. If you caught the service Sunday, you know that we talked about this 2-lane highway that we're all on. If you drive it all, you've been around it all, you know, in a 2-lane highway, some go faster, some go slower. Some actually exit before others and all kinds of stuff. But specifically, we want you to know that in this time, we recognize that some people are moving faster than others. For example, some people have voiced that we should have been back a long time ago. In fact, we should have never decided to stop in-person gatherings. For others, you are questioning, is it time to come back? I don't know if I'm ready to come back. We just want you to know that both of those are okay. We're at different speeds in different places. We also recognize that there's a portion of our family that are at high risk. And we also want to love well for each person. There's also a portion of the family that's not high risk. And we recognize that in both of those cases, the needs are different. If you are high risk, we encourage you to just continue to lean into the online campus, continue to enjoy all that it has to offer. We'll try our best to keep and maintain that at the level that it's been, and so that you and your family can continue to lean in. For others who find yourself on low risk, you may be saying that I'm ready to step into in-person gatherings. We want you to know that we would invite you to do that. There's others of you that as you're processing this whole thing out, you recognize that you are not ready yet to wear a mask. You are not ready yet to step into a space with social distancing. In fact, you're not ready to step back into anywhere that has regulations. You would prefer to wait until those regulations have lifted. And so we just want to encourage you, continue to join the online campus, maybe even rally some people around you wherever you're doing that at, and you can continue to have fellowship and communion together there while enjoying the weekend services through the online campus. For others, you're going, I'm ready. Even if I got to wear a mask, I'm just ready to worship in person, and you can't wait to get back. We want to invite you to step in and be able to do that. But again, we recognize that this 2-lane highway, everybody is at different speeds. Everybody's approaching this from a different perspective. And so we just want you to know that wherever you find yourself on that highway, whatever you have to do to just settle into that, that's okay. We want to encourage you to do that today. We took a survey. We recognized through that survey, by the way, thank you for those of you that took the time to do that. It was so helpful to be able to work with real data, to be able to understand the decisions that the senior leadership team and elders have been making in light of some data coming back from you guys, some honest feedback. And we just want to say thank you for taking it. But in those survey results, we also recognize that 51% of you are not ready to come back yet. And so 51% of our family will be outside of our in-person gathering. We want to encourage you today. And we want you to know as a commitment from us to you that we are going to continue to love you any way that we can, continue to have you step in, whether it be in a gathering or a life group or any other way we can serve you. We want to be a part of your journey in that. As we move forward, I want to make one thing very clear. We believe that it is our role as believers under the headship of Jesus of the church to follow him. And so we have been praying and leaning into what the Holy Spirit has. Everything you're about to hear has undergone this journey of prayer and sitting in the presence of God and just saying, God, what do you have for us as a family in this time? As we move forward then, here is your fall plan. If you've been excited, you can't wait for this. It's got a little more detail to it, but here's your fall plan. The last Thursday of August will be our last Thursday on the lawn. So if you've been going to those and you've been planning for what happens next, that last Thursday, they will come to a close. We will move to in-person Sunday gatherings moving forward. August the 30th is life group signups. We know that we are better when we are connected. We grow relationally together. We connect relationally together, and we want you to grow and connect further with Jesus spiritually. And we know that happens best when we get in a room, into a circle, and we're able to grow and sharpen one another. So August 30th, life group signups begin. That following week, September the 6th, is when life groups begin their new session, and we would love for you to be a part of that. In fact, not only love, but your soul needs to be a part of that. September the 6th, if you heard it this weekend, September the 6th is when we are re-entering our physical gatherings, our in-person services. We are moving forward, church. We're 8:30 and 10:30. Those are the times when we will have services. Now, one thing we didn't mention from the weekend is our kids ministry on Sundays will not begin for 2 more weeks. So September the 20th is when our kids weekend ministry will start up again. And that will be birth through 5th grade. So September the 6th, 8:30, 10:30, we will be in person in H1 together for the first time in many months. What that means is this, that there are a couple of things in this journey that we're going to ask. That when we figure out and we walk through how to step back into those in-person gatherings, there's 3 things we need you to know. One of those being, we are going to ask you to wear a face covering. Now, instantly, I know from survey results, for some of you, you're celebrating, right? This is this 2-lane highway. Some of you are celebrating. Some of you are saying, I'm not coming back if you have face coverings. And we understand there's a tension there. And church, hear me well. I wish I could figure out how to remove that tension for us, but it's one that we have to walk with the Spirit of God into, and we have to figure out how to live inside of it. This idea of re-entering our physical spaces is a complicated one, especially when it comes to face coverings. That there's no easy answer. And for us as a church where we are at currently, we are going to ask you to do it. You may be saying, well, why? What's the reasoning behind some of that? What's the thought process? Church, we are a large gathering. Even though we will be removing chairs in the room and creating some space, we're still a large gathering. And everything right now, from health organizations to our government officials, to if you go to any store, most stores, what you find is that you are being asked, because it is best practice in this season, to wear a face covering. Now, you may be saying, I've heard other things, I'm not sure about that. Another reality for us is we have to walk into this space knowing that we have an insurance company and we have liability issues with what we do and how we navigate this space. I want you to hear this before we talk about that. We have done everything we can to try and remove barriers. We understand face coverings as a barrier, but maybe think about it this way, that when winter comes and ice is on the campus and we spread salt outside so that no one slips, there's two reasons we're doing that. One, we want to love people well and make sure they don't slip. Two, we also know that we are liable if someone was to slip on the ice. And so we work very hard to try and make the campus as safe as possible for our family when we are in person together. For us, face coverings in this season apply the same way. We just want to make sure that we remove everything that we can, and we can honestly say that we've done everything we know in this season to help keep everybody safe. Along with that, I did mention the social distancing. The plan right now, we're removing every other row. So when you come into that service, every other row will be removed. And what that does is that creates a limited seating in our H1 auditorium. And so just know that we will be asking you to socially distance as you get into that space. We'll also be asking you that we'll have hand sanitizer available. Please use it. But again, this is September the 6th. September the 6th, 8:30 and 10:30, we will have in-person gatherings. 2 weeks later, our kids ministry will begin on weekends, will re-enter their physical spaces 2 weeks later, September the 20th. September the 6th is also the date for our youth ministry to begin their large in-person gatherings. Church family, we're so excited for our youth to be able to rally together again in one common space. Our youth team's been working tirelessly. You can find more information out from their social media spots, or you can find more information out on theheightschurch.com. But church, here's the thing. As we move forward from September the 6th, we realize that it's going to take us time to be able to get everything back up and going, all of our in-person gatherings. And so we've made a decision that between now and the new year, women's ministry and men's ministry will not be gathering in person in large gatherings. What that means is this, though. That does not mean that men's and women's ministry is not going on. They're just doing it in smaller ones or smaller spaces, and they'll continue in smaller spaces throughout the entire fall. Just know that when the new year comes, they'll step into those spaces and in-person gatherings on a larger capacity. Heights family, I hope this has been helpful. I'm sure it raises a bunch of questions. We look forward to answering those as we move forward, but I need you to hear one more thing. As we follow God in this, we do it as a family. As we step in and love well and follow Jesus' example, we do it as a family. And church, we want you to know this, that no matter what it looks like, maybe you'll come and see it, maybe you'll be a part, maybe you need to stay back on that highway. Wherever you find yourself, we want you to know this. We love you. And we are here together, moving forward as a family. And so we're excited. We can't wait as we move into our fall plan. We hope that you're excited and you'll walk this out with us. We can't wait to be together again.
All right, gang. So that's the latest from us as we definitely get excited about stepping into these in-person gatherings once again. Can't wait, and I want to not wait any longer to go ahead and bring in who we've got with us to open this discussion up, extend it further. I also want you guys to know that tonight, because I am flying this ship as well as on the passenger list, I can actually see what's happening in the chat tonight. So if you are on YouTube and you're live with us right now and you have questions or you want to throw something out there that you'd like us to talk about, we won't be able to get to everybody, but we'll be happy to jump in and get you in your question too. So Without further ado, however, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my friends in the chat. We have, hello, gentlemen. We got Pastor John with us tonight, as well as a very dashing Hector Lopez. How you doing, guys? Welcome.
What's up, my friend?
Welcome in, man. It's good to see you, John. I know a lot of people are also commenting on the fact you got that haircut, getting ready for that in-person gathering.
We're just getting ready, man. Just actually, the truth of the matter was, so I supposed to get my haircut after 7 weeks, right? Because it just gets out of control. And it sounds like Hector's locked out.
Oh, I locked Hector out. Well, it's like, youth guys, they're not going to behave themselves. So I couldn't see.
So you're just controlling them.
Just
keep him at arm's length, man.
I'll let him in now. I'll let you in.
Oh, man, so good.
All right, Hector, I'll let you back in if you behave yourself. Hey, there he is.
There he is.
Okay, that was from like 5 years ago. That
I'm about to say, you're looking pretty good on this. COVID treated you well, so.
It's okay. I was a model in a past life. I'm kidding. That's not true.
Oh, man. So, Hector, you're part of the youth team. Real quick, because some people might not know exactly who you are, what you do. So, what's your role on this and what you got going on right now?
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Hector Lopez, and I get the pleasure and the honor of being the high school lead at Heights Church.
All right. That's awesome. What is that?
I think there's
what does that
awesome
mean
in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the awesome high school lead. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Come on, man. Have a little swagger. Take a little pride. Come on.
The amazing high school lead.
Incredible.
Next level high school lead.
Yeah. And next week we'll be figuring out prefixes for our lead pastor.
Not a chance.
Amazing, incredible.
Not a chance.
I like this. I like where this is headed. We're going to have you back for next week for sure.
All right. You can mute him, man. Turn his video off now.
He's getting red. Look at him.
So, all right. So, Hector, one thing you got coming up soon, we got to talk personal for a second. You have a huge thing in your life coming up soon, right? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah.
Too late. We're doing it anyway. So
we're going there. All right. I'm getting married in a week and a half, and less than a week and a half. So I'm really excited, and I get to marry. Her name's Bria Boosie, and she's the love of my life. And so we decided to get married, and during COVID, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, not only did they decide to get married during COVID, but you're also getting married out of the country.
Yeah. In literally this is like the safest place we could find COVID wise was in Rocky Point, Mexico. And so we were able to find a place there, and prices are great there. So that's another reason.
Okay. So, you give us like the 2-minute version. Like, how did you two meet? And what in the world did you do to convince her to say yes when you proposed to her?
My gosh.
Let's be honest. Come on.
You know what? I actually have an answer.
It wasn't the hair, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't. So John's been doing our premarital, and he knows me very well now.
No, Hector,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hector and I have our COVID hair still going. We in hat mode right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get that hair cut before we get back on September 6th. So how did you guys meet? What's the connection there?
Yeah, so we actually met when we were about 12 or 13 years old, and we were both pastors' kids. So we both come from pastors' homes, and we went to this retreat that we were part of a denomination at the time that would have a gathering for all the pastors' kids. And so then I had a crush on her. She didn't think anything of me. And then fast forward when we turned 18, we worked at the same camp for a little bit, and then again had a crush on her. Never noticed me. It's fine. And then fast forward a little more, I end up getting to know her just a little deeper. We just found each other through like mutual connections and stuff like that. And so 5 years later, after dating for 5 years, you asked, how did she say yes? Persistence.
Okay.
A lot of
Just wearing her down, man. That's
just
the way
wearing her down.
Just wear it down.
And finally she was like, you know what, why not? And so now we're getting married, and I tried to do it real fast. That way she doesn't have that much time to change her mind. I'm kidding.
Smart. That is smart. You're sounding smarter all the time, Hector. I'll be honest.
Thanks.
I think you got this down. Okay, so here's the question. So, and then we'll jump into our real thing. I won't grill you for too long, but we just we're so happy for you. We just think it's great.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
guys. Okay, so what was the moment where you're like, hey, she's the one?
Oh gosh, that's an excellent question. Okay, I actually think I have an answer for this.
It was the first time she refused him at the camp, when she just didn't acknowledge his existence. He's like, oh, that's it.
She's the one.
That actually happened. I said hi and she walked by. And
you heard that Lionel Richie, like, hello. You know, one of those deals. And that's the last time I'm singing on midweek, so you're welcome.
It sounded good though.
Yeah, you're doing worship next week, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we're not. That's not a thing.
I think it was actually I think it was 3 years ago, and it was after a fight. Funny enough, we had some fight about something dumb that I couldn't even remember now, but we had gotten into a fight, and then we were talking right afterward. We were like making amends about all the craziness that it just happened, and then there's this weird moment where I felt like, as she said, I'm willing to fight for this. I was like, yeah, me too. And it was like this weird inside of me, like, yeah, me too. And I was kind of telling myself that. And ever since then, I've committed to, I'm not going to stop fighting for her. And now I get to do that in public with a bunch of people there, and live as well, because we're streaming it to all of our friends who can't be there because of COVID. So that'll be fun. I'm excited.
Man, that's fantastic. You know what? There's so much maturity in that thinking, you know, because I know for a fact a lot of us, you know, make a big life choice like that based on, you know, how someone makes you feel. And it's like the good feelings, you know, it's like, hey, this, you know, and instead it's so much more mature to think of it as, this is someone I'm willing to go through the bad stuff with, you know. That's incredible. That's I think that's kind of like God's love for us, honestly, right? He loves us. He's going through the bad stuff with us. It's pretty sweet. That's pretty awesome, Hector. Congratulations, my friend. And you got people in the chat, first of all, warning you about spending time with me online. So that's why they're saying, don't go there, Hector. It's a trap, is what one person said. But everybody else is saying congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's awesome. Thanks for jumping on with us as we look back to, you know, some of these plans for what's ahead for our church family. And it is something where we are celebrating stepping into this, you know, new season. I mean, you can see, I hope you can even see it on our faces. We are so tired of what it's taken to love and shepherd and care for you, you know, as a church family, not because we don't want to, but it's just been extra hard, and our hearts are just longing to be back in spaces with you in ways we haven't been able to so far. And so we also have a lot we've been celebrating in this season. I think a lot of you guys got an email from us that talked about ways we've seen God at work through this COVID time. So we're definitely ready for the next season, but thankful for all that God has done in this season. But John is, video summed it up really well, talking about some of the things we are excited about stepping into this season. So I feel like we don't necessarily need to go into like the nuts and bolts of it. The video is there. People can go to our website, go to heightschurch.com and click on the COVID button on the homepage. It's got everything on there that you could possibly want to know. And then we are available from there. You can definitely reach out to us by email, on social media. We're not afraid. We're not hiding. We want to step into conversation, relationship with you because we love you. And like Hector has figured out, people you love are worth fighting for. So we're here to fight for you and with you for what God has for our church family in the future. So John, with all that as the backdrop, I guess, you know, I'd love to hear, you know, some of your heart like this. I mean, how are you feeling and what are you thinking as we are finally able to say we're stepping back into Sundays in person in September?
Yeah, I think it's the journey that has been so difficult for people. Not everybody, but there's some people that this has been excruciating. This has been, I don't know if I can hang on. I need to step in, and I need to feel and experience God in a way that I'm familiar with. And, I think my heart and our hearts, especially senior leadership team, we ache. We get the emails, we have the conversations, um, you know, while we as, human beings feel it on our own levels with our families, there's also just listening to the ache and the angst in the church family. And it's been a long season. And so I think the excitement, like you're talking about, I think the excitement is born out of, it's a step forward that we can take. And I think I was talking to David, who oversees our weekend experience. And I was chatting with David, and just, as we were going back and forth, we were talking about this reality that, the whole going back doesn't exist, that what was prior isn't there. And that can be a negative, or it can be where you step forward and go, man, we're stepping into the new, and God is there. And what it becomes and what it's shaped like, and some of the things that were part of our culture before that just through time won't be part of our culture. I think that's some of the exciting stuff for me is we've really in this season got to see God provide. We talked about it on here before. Can you imagine if we didn't have the online campus when this all went down, and knowing that was a part of the build out, and seeing God's hand of provision? And then at the same time, recognizing that when we come back, 51% of those surveyed aren't ready to step back in. And that's just a reality that they face for where they're at in this journey. And recognizing that if you do, you run that math out, and if the stats are similar to churches around, and especially, some of the larger churches in the Valley, the people that come back, we will have more people out of the room than in the room. And so this season to allow us to be able to meet and walk alongside and gather and see the church still on a weekend, lean into worship and the word, and know we'll be able to continue that and step into, okay, how do we begin this re-entry? And it's so, to me, very excited, probably optimistic that God's up to something new. And that's probably one of the more exciting parts for me, is going, yes, the whole angst and hurt, and for some people that will be able to, I won't say be removed, but we'll be able to be lifted in one way or another by stepping back in. And that's a beautiful thing. And at the same time, just knowing that God's up to something and we get to be a part of it. So yeah, that was a long answer to say I'm excited.
Yeah, us too. That's one of the truly great things about being a follower of Jesus, being one of his sheep, is the fact we know that he's good, and we know he has a handle on the situation. And so what feels like an interruption to me is actually an invitation. It's like God in his grace is stopping this season, and he's stepping us together into another season. And even this COVID season, there's so much that as a human being, it's negative. There's no way to explain it away. The economy and people being sick and our church life being disrupted and all of that. But from God's point of view, because he's just good all the time, everything he does is good, and everything is about welcoming us into life with him in deeper and deeper ways. This is an invitation. And I can't wait to see what God has in store for us. It's going to be an adventure, but in the best kind of way, And John, you said something that kind of tied in with Sunday, this idea of how good it is for all of us to be craving longing to be back together in person. And that's a great desire. I mean, trust is right as pastors, as some of the people God's put in your life to care for you. I mean, we applaud that. That's what we want to see. But there, like you touched on Sunday, John, there's something even deeper than that. Like it ties into it, but goes way beyond that, is that craving and longing to just soak ourselves in the word like a baby craves milk, right? And I loved how you talked about that and this idea of craving, and what we crave shows up in what we say and what we do. And I don't know about you guys, I feel like this is a season that's showing that for me. Sometimes in good ways, and other times it's not so positive. What I'm craving and longing for comes up to the surface, you know. I don't know if you guys, Hector, I don't know if, do you feel that? Do you feel that in this COVID season where sometimes you want and crave, it's highlighting all the wrong things?
Yeah. And I think it's been this weird desire that I've had and I think echoing what John said, this desire to go back to just what we were, and looking back is looking to the future, and it's not. There's some new stuff coming in, which can be exciting, or it could be really frustrating depending on which way you take it. But like, I'm trying my best to be excited about the things we can be excited about and the cool things that are about to come up. And just kudos. I mean, church family, I would tell you this: these guys, both of them are on senior leadership. One of them's our lead pastor. Your wisdom has been so incredible during this time. And I mean, from the top down, like, everybody has been feeling loved and cared about on our end. And so just letting you guys know, like, I love the fact that decisions aren't just made, they're prayed about, and wisdom is used behind them. And it's one of the coolest things about our church that I absolutely adore. And you guys are a real testament to wisdom, and I love you guys for it. But yeah, no, you guys are incredible.
Thanks, man. That's super humbling for sure. And I'm glad you feel that way, because I think from senior leadership to elders, and then that flows obviously all the way through the church. And like, this season has been I would say some of the hardest to not waver according to what's new this week. You know, because I mean, we went through a season where I sat on a pastor's call every week in town, and they're all opening up, and they're excited. They're hitting the excitement we're hitting, but they hit it 2 months ago. You know, and I mean, in your seat, you know, they're opening up their youth group, and you know, you're trusting us, going, you guys, you can gather outdoors at a lake, but you really, you know, and I think that's been such a, like, walking that journey out with patience, going, God, we trust that when the time is right, you will make it abundantly clear. And to see him do that, and to see the fruit of that journey, and being able to, you know, sit and watch his hand provide. And so to hear you say that's just home run all the way around for, of encouragement, just on it's not been easy. You know, we knew even on our staff that there was people that were ready to move quicker than others, and, you know, that 2-lane highway thing. And I think, going back to the desire thing, Owen, I think one of the encouraging things in this season from the church family is there's such a strong desire to be with other believers. And knowing for us, like, we're going to launch here, you know, back into a life group session. In fact, signups are not this weekend, the week after. Which, by the way, if you're here and you're not in a life group, you need to get in a life group. There's my spiel. But no, the reality of that is, like, putting yourself with other believers, it really does, like, that's the sharpening process. That is back to your thing, Hector, of, you know, man, it was in a fight. We were sharpening each other, essentially. Like it wasn't our prettiest moment, but it was in that moment that good came from it. And I think with life groups and walking alongside each other and gathering together, I think that desire, and what's a part of that source, is worship in song and worship in the word and worship in generosity. And I think watching the church family crave those things and knowing that the outcome of that is then what Peter talks about from that passage from the weekend is growing up in our salvation, and to see the church craving something that will help them grow in their salvation. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so a question there aren't a lot of questions, but one is Diane is asking, what's our online stuff going to look like? It's going back to like a practical, morning coffee, midweeks, online services. What's that going to look like going forward? In the next, and again, we're still not in the, hey, everything's back to normal, guys. We're slowly walking through this. And so we can't project everything ahead really, really far, but what can you do to project ahead a little bit best we can, I guess, on the online stuff?
I say we ask Hector.
Yeah.
What online looks like?
Yeah, what does morning coffee look like?
We're moving over to Vimeo, guys. No, I'm just kidding. It's not happening.
Oh man. No, I think the easiest answer and the most honest answer is we don't know yet. We're not totally sure. And so what we've committed to is that as we re-enter our physical space on September the 6th, and now we're balancing more things on our teams, over that next month, we'll begin to understand what are the needs that the church family is feeling. Like morning coffees were born out of a need for connection, and the connection, and then that connection to push to the word. So, what that looks like moving forward, probably around fall break, we'll have a better idea and begin to communicate what that looks like. But right now we don't know enough to know how that plays out. So that's the honest answer.
We've learned some great lessons from this season about just online, how powerful it can be. So it's going to be in the mix for us, of course, right? Whatever, in some ways or another, we're going to figure out ways to stay connected online. Absolutely. And I know midweek, we'll have there'll be something coming from this that will live on. And then our online campus isn't going anywhere either. So even if, Sundays, based on, like we've said so many times, if it's a health concern, if you're concerned about the capacity of, will I get a seat on Sunday, whatever your concerns might be, the online campus will remain going forward for you. And we welcome you into that space. We don't see it as a less than, it's just another way to connect. So we welcome you into that.
And it may even be like you're saying, the lessons learned have been so valuable. And, that's one of the things with the COVID season where it often can be painted so negative. And I think of all the new ministry things that have been birthed out of this season. And like you're saying, some of those will continue on and maybe in a different space, a different way, or a different format, but the lessons learned from it will live on. And I think some of it may even be, it's going to take us time to get it to its fullest potential. But we learned it here and know we want it to be a part of online campus future, all of that kind of stuff. So.
Yep, absolutely. So once again, if you have detailed questions about things like kids, what's that going to look like for you? If you have a family, if you want to know about life groups, all of these things, just go to heightschurch.com, click on the COVID link. And there's literally, there's so much there you can read. And you can even watch John's video again if it's something you want to go back and, I like the hair in the video. I could probably stare at that for another several minutes. So, but that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. But, someone, Matt in the chat says, he says, man, he appreciates the honesty and the heart he's seeing here. He said, even just acknowledging the reality that things are never going to be back the way it was helps processing. And awesome. I appreciate that. And I think that's our heart. Thanks, that's my heart for you guys. I know it's all of our heart as a pastoral team, is back to that idea of craving. It's like we want us all to crave, not to go back, but to go forward. Like, grow up in your salvation, like it said in John, your sermon this week, like, which is progress. You don't want to regress. You want to go forward. You want to grow up, or we want to press on with what God has for us. And I think, the temptation to just kind of want everything the way it was could short circuit the fact that God's inviting us into something that's yet to come. And so that's my heart, is just let's crave what God has for us next in his word, in the gatherings we have together. Every way God's providing new opportunities for us. He's drawing us in, inviting us to come forward, and we'll get to experience that September 6th in a way we've never experienced it before. Can't wait.
Okay. Hey, Hector, real quick.
Yeah.
So I know for you guys with youth, everything was shut down initially. Then you got into these weekly at the lake gatherings. And now September the 6th, you guys are allowed to gather in person in a building again. So give us a little bit, what can people expect? What's going on from you guys?
Yeah, no, we're so excited. So me and Austin Turner, which is the middle school lead, we're going to start up services that same week with our Heights family. And so it's going to be September 6th is going to be middle school at night. I want to say 6 p.m. And so they're going to start off their gatherings. And then we've got our gatherings now on Wednesday nights at 6:30. And that's just because moving forward, whenever kids does come back, their midweeks are typically on Wednesdays. And so kind of trying to unite with them a little bit and make sure that if you do have a kid and a high schooler, you can drop them off at the same time and hopefully pick them up at the same time. And so that's kind of the vision there. And then we're really, really excited for these like gatherings to just start up. Really, we've got some exciting things that we want to announce as we kind of move forward in that, and some new different like group opportunities that are super exciting. But yeah, no, we're just really excited to start up.
That's awesome, man. We're excited.
When do you guys go in person?
September 9th. So
okay.
September 9th, 6:30. I've been telling all our high schoolers, I don't care what you're doing, stop doing it and get to Heights Church. H3 is going to be our new building. And yeah, we're stoked just to see them again and be able to gather and worship together. And Jesse Moody will be leading worship, and it'll be great. And you can take a picture with him and get an autograph if you really, really want to. I'm kidding. That's not. Don't do that.
Yeah, there's another lesson from the season, right? How sweet it is to be with people, right? I mean, again, that's just a thing you take for granted. And it's like, man, this is a big deal. We got people planning to teach you, lead you in worship, and we get to be together. That's huge. That's a real gift. So I hope you guys start off and catch fire out there September 9th. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. One last serious question for you from the YouTube chat, John. People want to know if that cooking show is coming back.
I've been wondering the same thing. I lost recipes, man.
For those who have lives that don't tune into every possible thing we do, I'm just kidding. We love you. But John has dabbled with a little cooking with Heights going on some morning coffees, and I told him I think there's a future here. Hey,
I sent it to the Food Network. They just haven't responded yet. Just letting you know. I didn't do that. That's not true.
You know, it's probably one of those things that in this season we learned. And the learning was, we probably shouldn't do that again. You know, one of those ones versus one of those that like, we should keep that. So no, I don't know, man. It'll make an appearance at some point.
Yeah, we quickly learned that we enjoy each other too much, and we can send a whole conversation just wheels off. Everybody's like, where's the biblical content? Where's the preaching? It's like, no, we're just going to talk about bacon for 30 minutes. Hope you don't mind.
I think that's pretty spiritual on my end.
I do know.
Isn't that
that's like smoking like a tree guy.
Together.
Bacon is spiritual.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, Hector, you got me convinced. We'll work on John. We'll get him there. We'll get him there. Step one, we got to get these in-person gatherings rolling. So, yeah. So I guess, I mean, here we are. We're over time. We should probably let people go. John, do you have anything, parting thought? I don't want to end it too soon.
No, I would just say, man, you know this, but we love you. And I hope if you hear anything from tonight, especially with the plans for the 6th, is our goal is to love our church family well. And that includes in person and online, and continuing to march forward together, journeying side by side. And again, that 2-lane highway, right? We're just trying to meet people on that 2-lane highway, and as a family, not leave anybody behind. So that's the plan.
Beautiful. Well, so that's where we're going to land it, folks. We love you. Hector, thanks for jumping on, man. So brave. And we really appreciate it. Love talking with you. We got to have you back on soon. Up until end of this month, look for things to continue on as they are. Services online Sundays, 10:30, 6 o'clock. Morning coffees going on for this month as well, including on Friday when I think I'm up for morning coffee. So last time I tried to explain if this is the end of the world. So you never know what's going to happen on the next morning coffee. And then we'll see you Sunday online for church. We love you. Please bring questions. Don't be isolated. Don't be afraid, scared, frustrated, or even celebrate on your own. Do it with us. Let's do it together because we love you guys. So we'll see you Friday morning coffee Sunday. And then in the meantime, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. Make sure your kids jump into Wednesday night with kids this week. I am covered in paint because of what's happening on Wednesday, on Wednesday night live with the kids. So jump in for that. The kids will love what happens there. And we'll see you Friday. We'll see you Sunday. Much love to you, our church fam. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.